Good morning, and welcome to this introduction to Slack and how to really get the basics of Slack and what it is. Plan is that I'll do a brief introduction and then I'll put my Slack screen up on there and run through the key elements of how to use Slack. There is a core of people within Agency Local that use Slack. They use it in their business. And there is then a second core of people that know of Slack, but aren't really familiar with it. And then there's the third lot that really don't know Slack, never used it, but may want to know more about it. Now, we've chosen Slack as the online community platform for Agency Local for a number of reasons, but it's really prevalent actually within the agency world. The idea was that it was to help teams, organisations communicate with each other and to reduce the reliance on emails. Now, that's fine. But it also lends itself to being a really good platform for a community such as Agency Local. So it will enable you to have conversations with each other, to support each other, and you never know, you might end up using it within your own business, with partners. In fact, at my agency, we used it on a number of occasions to sort of manage projects with clients. So the aim is to create this online community, to have conversations, to support each other, and a place for Agency Local people to go and get information, ask questions, support each other. Now, there are a number of ways that you can access Slack. Firstly, through the browser. Any browser will go to the Agency Local Slack. You can download an app onto your desktop. I use a Mac. I have a Slack app. And then thirdly, on your mobile, so be connected on Slack. So now I'm going to switch across to my screen and we can take a look at Slack. And welcome to Slack. So Slack has some key areas really. On the left-hand side here, if you can follow my my cursor here, we have different workspaces. So obviously we are in Agency Local workspace, but you can have different other workspaces. So you could have one for your business, you could have one with a client, whichever way you wanted to do that. So you have multiple workspaces, and I've sent out links to people to access the workplace. If you follow that link, I think you need to set up an account with Slack. This is the free version, and that's limited to the number of records that you can view over a period of time. Free version is absolutely fine for anybody wanting to just get into Slack and understand it. So follow the link, set it up, and it will be agencylocal.slack.com, I think is the URL. So these are the workspaces. You then have your main sort of left-hand navigation, and we'll come on to these in a bit, but this is your main sort of navigation within Slack, so the key areas. Then in this middle panel, you have the conversations. So this is where the conversations happen, and it's basically a stream. Like you get a stream on WhatsApp or Twitter, it's a conversation stream within a category. And then there's another panel here, which is on the right hand side, which is an information panel. This has got my profile up, but if I close that, then that whole one comes across. But so they're the three key areas within Slack. So fairly easy to understand. So let's have a look at a bit of housekeeping first when you first go into Slack. So following to the top left, you'll see that we're in Agency Local, and we'll see that we're in my Slack. So the drop down arrow next to Agency Local opens up another box, and this is where you can set your preferences and things like that. But the two I want to focus on are profile and account and the preferences. Set a status, just have a look at that. You can set a status working remotely, on holiday, off sick, which will tell anybody else on Slack what you're doing. However, that's only really relevant if you're using it all the time. So the first thing to do when you've got into the Agency Local Slack is really to set up your profile. And if you look on the right hand side, when I clicked on post profile, this is my profile. So if you go into edit the profile, and we see here that this is where you put your details. This is your full name, whatever you want your display name to be, and what you do. This is the key area within Slack for you to tell people what you do. Slack is not really here for you to sell what you do. It's here for you to support and to work with other people. But what I do is great in here. If you're I build awesome websites, video that can't be beaten. You can put whatever you want in there, and then phone number if you want to, and then just the time zone, and make sure that you upload an image. If like me, I need to update that because I actually had hair in that one, and we just save the changes, and that's essentially your profile set up and done. So when, as you can see here, we're in a message group, it'll show your profile picture and your name. So here we have Remini. So the other thing that is important on the way you use Slack, before we actually get into the bones of Slack, is about preferences and notifications. So as with any app, it sends you notifications, it sends you emails, it sends you desktop notifications, etc. So there are ways, as we all know, they can be annoying, but there are ways of limiting those. So when you go into notifications, you can have all messages, you could have just direct messages and mentions and keywords. So that's when somebody's talking to you directly, you want to be notified, all the way down to absolutely nothing from Slack. You can have different settings on your mobile device here. Now, where this says direct message, mentions and keywords, you could put in keywords into your Agency Local for things that you are interested in. So, for example, video, web development. You could put those keywords in here, and then when they appear in Slack, you will be notified. You can actually put do not disturb notifications, and then you've got preferences on the sounds, etc. as well. So that's quite an important setting, because as we know, sometimes these systems can be more annoying than they are beneficial. So you can control that there. So into the main part of Slack itself. So the main part of Slack is based on channels. So one of the reasons why I chose Slack as the system for agency local online community is that you can separate out different areas for different conversations, and these are called channels. So currently we have business development, we have events, we have finance, we have opportunities, people, there's a random one in there, recruitment, shout out if you want to give somebody some praise, and systems. So we're currently in the systems channel. Now what that does is focuses conversations, and it sort of categorizes conversations, as opposed to something like LinkedIn or even WhatsApp, where all you get is one constant stream. So looking at the channels, and the channels will build over time. There will be more in there. In fact, you can actually set up and create your own channel. By default, when you join, you will be added to all of these, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if a new channel is created that you'll be added to it. So you can come into channels and you can have a look at the channels here, and if there's any that you aren't in, you can join. There will be, and there can be, the opportunity to set up private channels. So these are channels where only invited participants can join. So for example, if agency local was to become a membership, then we could have channels just purely for members. There will still be open channels, but there'll be other ones that people that aren't members can't see. So if you can just go into the different channels, and you can see there's been quite a few sort of conversations happening, certainly around sort of opportunities. So here's one. I put one in here regarding somebody who was looking for a web developer, and people have responded to me there. Now then, if you see, when I hover over something, there's this pop-up box appears here. Now, this is a way for doing other actions within Slack. So I could add a reaction, like just an emoji in there, and you'll see on some of these as we go through, people have been doing that. So I can add an emoji there, and it's just a quick way to say that you've seen it, you like it, whatever. You can star a message, and if you look up here in the top right, there is a star. So I can look at very quickly all the messages and everything that I have starred, and that's a very good way of, if there's something you want to reply to but need to come back to it, you can star it. So it really sort of helps on the navigation. And this one here, which says start a thread, is really, really key, because this is the next level down in conversation. But before I get onto the threads, what I want to do is just look at down at the bottom here, which is where you actually contribute and write messages. So if I go into, where are we? Let's go into general up here. So I can type in here the how to use Slack intro video will be available very soon. I will notify people here. Okay, spelt wrong. So here we can put things, we've got all these standard editing, italic, bold, bullets, etc. You can attach files in here. So if you want to share a PDF or something like that, you can attach that in here. You're very easy to add emojis from bottom right, and there you see an @ sign. Now the @ sign is really important within Slack. So I can @ somebody, an individual. So I could @ Remini, and I could @ Tom if I wanted them to. So if I want to make them aware, somebody specific, aware of a message that I'm putting out there, you can @ somebody. The other importance of @ is that you can @ and you'll see here channel. So if I @ channel, that means that everybody that's in this channel, and if I look up at the top here, we have the whole member list. Sorry, down here, we have the whole member list of who's in this channel. That means they will all get notification about this message. So please use that that carefully, but it is quite an important one to use. So I don't actually want to make these guys aware of that at the moment. So that's my message. So I just press return and it's there. So now you'll also see this on the right hand side, this pop out. Now if I press more, then on my messages I get different options. Now the key one here is that I can go in and I can edit a message. So I can go in here, I'll notify people here very shortly. Okay, and then I can just save those changes. Equally, I can actually go in and I can delete a message there as well. So that's how we do the basic messaging. You will see that actually here I've got where it says a 1, that means somebody's posted a new message in events that I haven't seen. So I can go into events and there's a message here from Jason, which I've now seen. So you can see that the 1 has now disappeared. So if I now go in, just back up to the top here, and I've got my starred one, and I want to go back into this message here, so I can jump to that, and immediately it takes me to that message, and I can shut down that window. So we're now in the systems channel, and here Remini put @ channel, so she's at the whole channel. I have a client looking to implement low cost but effective CRM, etc., etc. Now this is a great use of Slack. She's asking for help, and it's a chance for everybody to input. Now instead of having the stream of conversations, you'll see here that it says that there are 3 replies. Now, this is the importance of threads. So if I click on that, the thread will open, and this takes conversations around this one post into just a private area just about that post. So you can see I replied to Remini, but that reply doesn't appear in the main feed. It's just within this thread for this topic. David Finch replied. Remini's replied, atting us as well. And if I wanted to, I could add another reply in here just for this thread. And then only the people that have been involved in that thread will get notified. So threads are a really important way of uncluttering the mainstream and having very focused conversations. So if we go back to this, so here's a comment by Nick. If I wanted to start a thread, I click up here and there's a thread for this conversation. So I can now reply directly to Nick, but it's not in the mainstream, but it's and it hives off the conversations. So threads are a really important way to manage that. So that's the main bulk of the conversations. So just to recap, we have our channels, we have the conversations, and then we have threads. Now, the other thing with Slack, the other benefit of Slack is that you can actually have one-to-one conversations. So anybody in green is online. Where there is a 1 there, again, I've got a new message from Harry Gasco. So if I click on Harry, there we go. Hi Chris, hope you're well. So he's just joined here and started a direct conversation with me. Now, when somebody says I will DM you, it's a direct message, and this is direct messages. So these are all people that I've had sort of direct messages with. Now, if I go in here, I can see a list of everybody, all the members, or else I could type in there and it'll do a search on those people. If I want to start a direct message, I can have direct messages with groups of people as well. So here, if we wanted Vicky, I can add Vicky in there. John, I could add John Onion in there. And if I press go, that will set up a direct message with Vicky and John. And there are 2 people in here. So we can have a little private group conversation. It could be around an opportunity, a project, whatever, within Slack. So one-to-ones are really, really quite important. And that really is the basis of Slack. A couple of other things that are quite useful. One is the search function. So the search function, so if I put office space, and there you'll see, here is some conversations that have been happening that come up with office space. The search in Slack is really, really good. You can do it by date, you can filter by people. So the search is very good. And the final thing that you'll notice is that under direct messages, you'll have a Slack bot. Now, a Slack bot is really very good. It does two things. One, it condenses all your notifications, but it's also very good as a help. So you can ask Slack. So I searched so Slack overview, and then it came back and gave me these 3 links. So it's like a help function within Slack. So essentially, that concludes my overview. I hope that was useful. I hope it gives you the insights into the main elements of Slack. Now all that remains is for you to join, and get in, and participate, and work with people. And we're back. Hope you found that useful as an introduction to Slack. Now, please do just go and have a play. Don't be scared. We've gone through the basics. Hopefully now you understand what the different parts are. So first of all, just go and have a look around. Have a look at the different channels. Have a look at the different conversations that are happening in those channels. See what questions people are asking. See how people are replying. Have a look at the threads as well. And then engage. Ask the questions, contribute, because that's what we want for this community. If you're feeling a little bit nervous, then just have an experiment and direct message me. That's be fine. So at Chris, and I will respond to you. So I really hope you found this useful. Thank you for listening, and I will see you on the other side in Slack. Cheers for now.